For those Andrew Jack fans that have been patiently waiting for this one, your patience is over. I've been teasing you with this comparison, but it is finally here. Ronnie Coleman versus Andrew Jack at the 2023 Arnold Classic. For Ronnie, I chose his 1998 Mr. Olympia physique, one of his best ones ever, yet one of his smaller versions at the same time. It wouldn't have been fair to use his later bigger physiques in my opinion. Front double biceps. This is an awesome matchup right here, just look at that guys. Ronnie has the guns, he has the shape, his midsection was pretty tight back in 1998 too, however his abs didn't look all that good, especially compared to Andrew. Andrew Jack hits one if not the most beautiful front double biceps pose of all time, and judging by current standards, when apparently overall flow is more important than anything else, than overall mass, than anything, I think Andrew Jack could have the advantage in this pose. Who should be winning this pose right here and why? Let me know in the comment section below. Front lat spread. Now, every expert present at the show claimed that Andrew was unbeatable in the front poses at the Arnold, including the front lat spread. I thought being there in person gives you a better idea on how these bodybuilders look than video footage or pictures, and I can't comprehend how everybody overlooked Andrew's imbalance through the lats. I really hope that is not an injury and it was just something like a cramp. If it wasn't for the obvious imbalance in his lats, he could have challenged Ronnie in this pose, because when you look at the video footage, Ronnie doesn't do a great job hitting the pose. Still pictures is different. Ronnie looks unbeatable in the pose, but footage tells you a different story. Side chest pose, and unfortunately for Andrew, he is not a powerhouse in the side poses. His arms look kinda thin and he seems to be struggling with holding this pose locked. Maybe he knows he doesn't look all that great and that affects his presentation, I don't know. On the other hand, Ronnie has arguably the best side chest pose of all time in spite of being an average poser himself, and this pose goes to him, no doubt about that. Back double biceps, and from the back Andrew is hopeless in this comparison. One, he is not as dangerous from the back as he is from the front for example, but he also goes against arguably the best back in the history of the sport in Ronnie Coleman. Just look at Ronnie's details and separation, look how massive his back is. Look at the lower body, the glutes, the hamstrings, even the calves. Conditioning too, quite obvious in spite of the poor video quality. This is a knockout pose from Ronnie Coleman. We have pretty much the same story in the back lat spread pose. Good news for Andrew is that his lat imbalance is not noticeable here from the back, but he can't do nothing against Ronnie in the back poses. Lights out, game over. The side triceps is the pose where Ronnie becomes vulnerable. He doesn't have a strong lateral head and he also doesn't take the effort to hit this pose properly. Andrew has the better triceps, but his side triceps execution is uninspired as well, unlike his front triceps right here, which looks great on him. Now, I'm not sure this is totally fair, but if he could get away with this execution for this pose, I think he's pretty invincible right here. Just as he is invincible in the abs and thighs pose. This is arguably the best abs and thighs pose in the history of bodybuilding, and I mean from a men's open bodybuilding perspective. I think this is even better than Sean Roden. Ronnie Coleman can't do nothing against Andrew in this pose here. But he definitely can do a lot of damage in the most muscular pose. Now, in 1998 this pose was not a mandatory, yet pretty much always bodybuilders were hitting the pose at the end of the posing rounds. Here we have just a glimpse of Ronnie hitting a hands clasp variation of the pose, but it is enough to establish that he's beating Andrew. This is not a great pose for Andrew, again because of his long, thin guns. Having thick arms and shoulders is mandatory in this mandatory. In the end, of course, Ronnie Coleman won. He is the greatest of all time and this is arguably one of his greatest ever physiques, but Andrew won 3 poses against that if we count the front double biceps, which is more than amazing for him. What do you guys think about this comparison? Let me know in the comment section below. Like this video and subscribe. Thank you and see you next time.